So let's chat. I finally met with my doctor. I haven't seen him in a while, just because I was dealing with the concussion. I saw him, and I was like, "Hey, this is what happened. What the fuck do I do?" He sent me to go get vision therapy, get a few other therapies, and like go to this clinic. And I didn't see him since. Not because I didn't want to. Actually, partially because I didn't want to. Why? Because most doctors suck. They don't support you in the way you want them to support you, nor do they want to support you in any way because they just have too many patients. Like, it's fucking hard. Their life is so busy and so, like, filled. Ooh, it's too late for that. Um, and so they can't help you, not in any meaningful way. They see you for 10 minutes and then you're out the door. And I finally relented and said, I should probably go see my doctor. I got like a full blood panel done through private because every previous doctor I've ever seen has always said, "Oh, you don't need blood tests, you're so young." It's just the default thing they say. And when I went to go see my doctor today, he looked at the blood test and he's like, "Dude, I could have just ordered these for you. Not all of them, but like most of them." And I was like, yeah, but mostly like doctors always just give me the runaround and I got tired and fed up with it. So I just did this. And I know I never asked you and I probably should have, but whatever. Fuck it. Like, it happened. But for my follow up, I'll ask you and then we'll go through that. And he had a little chuckle about that. And then we went through my blood work. I told him all the supplements I was taking. I told him, like, hey, this is what I'm trying, or hey, this is what I'm doing. And so I broke down, like, okay, I'm taking this much of this, I'm taking this much of this, I'm drinking this much water, I'm doubling my water intake because I was told by my nutritionist or dietitian, don't not sure which one, don't really care, don't tell me. I don't fucking care. Um like, I broke down everything I was doing and I broke down like my experience with the concussion clinic. Also, this is looking a little poor. And so when I did that, he listened, he asked questions, he had specific questions. And after I went through my supplement routine, he's like, okay, cool. It's a little bit on the high end, but he's like, I would just keep going with it. Really monitor how you're feeling in the morning because you're taking like a bit more magnesium. Um, so I'm taking 300 milligrams of elemental magnesium. He wants me to drop down to like 200 ish or 144. He's like, just see how you feel. If you feel groggy, if you feel this, or the other, try to reduce it, see how you feel the next night. And he's actually been super helpful in that sense, which shocked me. Now, I take I microdose psilocybin 2 to 3 times a week, because it's supposed to help with neuroplasticity, and I use the statement stack. Important note: he knew what that was. I didn't tell him I took psilocybin yet, because like he's a good doctor. Like, he cares, he wants the best for his patients. He never told me to take it, by the way, like, nothing. He actually, so let's break it down. I told him, oh, I'm taking niacin, not Niacin. And he's like, oh, what are you taking with that? Interesting question. Why would he ask this? Because he knew what the statement stack was. Paul Stamets is a famous um, fungi um, person, like, not person, like PhD doc scientist, and he has this stack of taking. And I told him, "Oh, I'm taking niacin and vitamin or lion's mane," and he's like, "Oh, the statement stack." And then I was like, "Yeah, since you know what that is, I'm also taking microdosing psilocybin, but at a very low dose, only 3 times a week, with that stack, and I only take that 2 to 3 times a week." And he's like, drop it down to 1 time a week. Um, because, well, ideally he wants me off of it completely. Um, because, it's probably not the best thing to do. Um, but the fact that he is aware of these things and knows, like, okay, this can be dangerous in this way, or this can be useful in this way. And he actually asked me, how are you feeling? I've had 4 concussions, if you don't know, in like a very short time period. Um, and I was like, what do you mean? How am I feeling? I said, what do you mean? How am I feeling? What kind of doctor question is that? And he's like, with your concussions and doing everything and like recovering, how are you feeling? And I said, what the fuck kind of question is that? I told him, I'm still scared of getting a concussion. Like, I'm very scared of getting a concussion. And that's something that hasn't gone away. But it's reduced. Like, I'm understanding that, oh, to get CTE, because I was really scared of that, it takes a lot of minor hits and major hits to get CTE. It's very difficult to do. And concussion recovery is definitely possible, like fully. And he's like, that's some, and I was like, that's relieved a lot of stress. And he's like, that's really good. And what else? Like, how are you feeling otherwise? Like, you said you were gaming again. Does that give you hope that you can like get fully recovered? And I was like, yeah, but it's still, I'm still scared of like, what if it happens again? Because it's happened 4 times in 4 or 5 months. Like, it's scary. And he's like, yeah, that makes sense. And then he just told me, you should monitor how you're feeling and keep working on all the things you're doing. Oh, he looked at my blood test and he's like, you should probably do resistance training. And I was like, yeah, that is on the docket. And we talked about that. And it was interesting because, like, in the beginning, I was just fucking spewing out information to him because I know doctors give you like 10, 15 minutes tops and then you're fucking out of there. Get out of here. We got another patient. So after 15 minutes, he was like still chatting about my fucking mental health in regards to this. He's like, keep meditating, like start meditating if you haven't. Like, you used to do it, so start doing it again and start improving your anxiety slowly about your concussions, because he's like, you went to the ER on the 27th of December. That's when I had the panic attack. Not panic attack, but I was panicking about possibly getting another concussion because a clock fell on my head. It didn't fall on my head. Fun fact, I was fine. But because of all the stress and anxiety and fear, all the symptoms of a concussion rearose in me exactly as a concussion would. Next day, I was fine. So I knew it wasn't a concussion. Like, perfectly fine. Even that night, it was like gone before I went to sleep. Um, and he was like, yeah, your body and your mind are dealing with a ton of anxiety and stress and fear. And he's like, you got to slowly approach that. I was like, yeah, I don't want to pay for a fucking therapist. And I forgot, didn't, whatever. I didn't tell him I use AI as a therapist right now, and it's fucking pretty good because I can tell it to be direct and give me actual advice and like useful information, because otherwise, what the fuck are we doing, right? Like, oh, I'm sitting here chatting with you about this problem. We do it 6 times in a fucking a month or whatever. Nothing changes because you're not allowed to tell me how I'm fucking up. AI doesn't have that problem. It'll tell you how you're fucking up, which is very nice. And so we chatted about that for another 15 minutes. Now it's like 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes into the appointment. And I was like, dude, thank you. Um, I appreciate you taking the time to like check in and actually like check me. We chatted about some other stuff as well, like life stuff. Not about me, but just like in general. Um, because he knew what Civilization 6 was. Because he's a young guy. But it gave me hope for our medical system, the Canadian medical system. It also gave me hope in myself and my doctor. I was like, dude, this guy's on my fucking team. I got a doctor on my team trying to make sure I'm getting better. That's fucking bonkers. Bonkers, bananas, craziness. doctors on my team to actually make sure I'm getting better. What more can I ask for? And I am getting better, like significantly improved. Um, but we can do a check-in video later about that. But yeah, I know it's extremely hard to find a doctor, let alone a good doctor. But I think it's worth the effort. Um, because knowing that you're actually supported, holy shit, the difference I felt um was incredible. It was insane. And that's it. That's the video. You can stop here, you can like leave, you can click off. But it was incredible. Um Knowing that I'm supported in my medical journey. Um it was very nice. And yeah, that's it. Have a good night, good morning, whatever. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop them down below. But it's good.